Hello and welcome back, Josh, Sam, and anyone else who's watching to Let's Be Aves-ing. We're back for the beginning of the third season. Some changes are afoot, not very many and not many feet, but it is football and we need at least 22. Let's look at what happened with the transfers history. Okay, so. We spent 1.3 million. We've made 12 million pounds in terms of outgoings. So let's go through them quickly, and we'll play against Academical. And I think that'll probably be it for this video. So we sold Cerretelli. He didn't play very much last season. He wasn't very good, and he isn't very good. He's left. He's old as well. Luis Pessoa, another player who I think I signed. Actually no, he was with us for a while. So yeah, I don't think he's ever played for us though. He leaves on a free and has now joined Portimonense in the division below. We then sold Raz Hadida, a player who never really kind of fit in properly. Signed him for free, sold him for 2 milli squillies to Almeria in the Spanish top division. So good. We then sold Jorge Fontes for 300,000 to Gymnastique in the second division in Spain. After he didn't really do very much for us. We apparently, I didn't realize we've sold him twice now. I bought him for that much and sold him for a little bit more, so we made a profit on him. That's the main thing. Never really did that great for us. That's the thing to remember. We then sold Jamelao to Elche for 1.4 million. I think a reasonable return. We paid money for him initially. He's not that good, and we made double the money back, so fair enough. We then sold Ledio Duro, the player who fired us into the top division with 15 goals and 10 assists 2 years ago. Didn't do so well last season, only scored the one goal, a delightful lob in one of the cup competitions, and we sold him for £900,000 somehow to Verona in Serie A. So he will almost certainly not play there. Not bad at all in terms of business. Jeremy Watkins has left. He only played a couple of games towards the end of last season. 1 goal in the league. Did he also score? No, he literally only scored the 1 goal. Came in a free from the Championship, has gone back to the Championship with Eastbourne Borough, lol. And he's 32, so we want to try and bring the age of the team down. We sold Anderson, a player who is really not worth the £2.2 million we sold him for. Signed him for free, never played him, made 2.2 million out of him. I'm happy with that. You should be happy with that. Good business deals. Alfred Pronk also left. The 23-year-old left back, not a bad player, but as you can see, also not a great player. Did pretty well for us last season, 6.88 rating. But we signed him for free and sold him for 5.25 million a year later. I think that's a reasonable return for the money we spent. So Ajax, despite having sold him for 750k, have now bought him back for 5.5 million. So sucks to be them. And not a bad player, but not a stunning player. And so off he goes, and we get our money for him. That's good. We also sold Kang Yun Hyun. 21 years of age, not very good. Was out on loan in the second division last season. Basically a pretty good second division player. We sold him for 10k to Aris in the Greek second division. And then also Samuli Metainen, the Finnish player that I actually signed 2 years ago. He spent his last season on loan in the second division and has now joined Cluj for 18k. He's not very good, so it's fair enough. We've brought in a few players, a couple for money, although not many. We've also not done the deals exactly as I'd want. We didn't get in a young, we didn't get as good a striker. There are some positions where we're still sort of relying on players who are not as good as you'd want them to be, but it is the way it is. It's only our second season in the top division, and also our ground is so small that we can't sustain high wage budgets yet. So we signed Milan Barbaric, a player who is supposed to end up being good. He's supposed to become a good player in the future. I'm sceptical as to whether he will do or not, considering he's already 19. He's in the under-19s. I might loan him out even. thinking about it now, looking at it, see if I can get him out on loan somewhere. But yeah, just brought him in with the intention of trying to sell him on for some money, basically. We then signed Miguel Pinto, a left back who is pretty good, age 20, not as good at defending as Pronk, but still also quite good. He's more physical, signed him for a little bit of money, but I think we'll be able to make our money back on him as he progresses. What's he training on at the moment? Because I noticed that he's not great at... so I've got him working on his passing. Fair enough. We then signed Goran Knežević, a goalkeeper from... where was he coming from? Lugano in the Swiss Super League. He's a pretty good player. He's a rotation basis, our second string goalkeeper, and we signed him for free. We can probably make a couple of million out of him, or sell on Villegas and keep him as our first choice. But basically, they're very similar. We then signed Sean Dixon, the 18-year-old Jamaican young lad. He's nowhere near as good as he. I think I signed him when he was 16, and he was this good, and he's going to be terrible. He's supposedly, he's now lost all of his potential ability. He used to be like 5-star potential. I won't be able to sell him yet, so there's no point. But yeah, a waste of money. But it was only 5k, so not that bad. Toshio Kobayashi comes in, a 19-year-old Japanese centre-back. Not great in the air somehow. I suppose it's because he's 5'8". Yeah, his jumping's appalling. But he's quick, he's good at defending, he's fairly functional, and that's what we like to see. Let's get him working on his jumping, see if we can't sort of round him out a little bit more. But yeah, a good player. At 19 years of age, we'll probably get some money out of him as well in the future. Player we almost certainly won't get money out of in the future is Nuno Fonseca, who comes in 33 years old. He's only on a 1-year deal, I believe. Yeah, comes in from Vitória Guimarães. Has done pretty well in our pre-season games. I'm not sure whether he will be able to drag that into league form, but it's just good to have another body in there. He's a little bit more experienced. He's not as good as I want, but he's a clinical finisher, and striking up front is the area in which I've struggled most in terms of finding players to bring in. So just FYI. The only one I could find was Kjartan Husgaard, 6'2", kind of the polar opposite of Fonseca. He's good in the air, good at attacking, but very slow. We should have him training on... We don't. We should have him training on his quickness. A player who'll probably score some goals. He scored 5 in 4 non-competitive games for us so far. Has played around the Eastern Europe quite a lot, but also has had a brief period here in the Portuguese second division. So, he might end up being quite a good player. It's hard to tell. He's on quite a long contract. We should be able to, considering I signed him for free, we should be able to at least make some money out of him. I'm quite happy with him, considering how hard it was to find any other strikers, but not ideal still. Next player we brought in, the youngster Fernando Rodriguez, came in, I think was going through the Sporting Academy. They say he's going to be as good as Eric Leon. I'm not sure about that. Rio Ave are interested to sign him, but that can't be up to date because they say they want to sign him on a free, but that's not going to happen. Anyway, so he's in the club again, not someone who's going to take over and become a star, at least not yet, but we then spent £200,000 on Oleg License, the Latvian right back, who's actually quite good and only 19. He'll be the backup to Von Baren for now. He's played very well for the Latvian team Metalurgs, but I don't think he's actually won anything with them. I think they pretty much suck. So yeah, he's okay. At 200k, I think we'll get money out of him if he develops on a little bit more. I think we are in a good place with him. And then Petros Charalubos, another striker, who once we sold... What was his name that we sold for 5 million? Pronk. We were able to sign these two guys. Petros Charalubos comes in, bit of youth pedigree, speedy and good at finishing. I'm hoping that, despite the fact that he's fairly poor at goals with his head, he'll be able to get some tap-ins. He's also left-footed, which is pretty strange. So he comes in from Apollon Limassol in the Cypriot top division, I assume. Now, we have had a pretty good pre-season. If we look at the fixtures, we beat Châteauroux. I got very excited by this win and another one, the Clermont Foot. ones. I got very excited thinking that they were second or first division French teams, but actually Châteauroux in the third division, Clermont-Ferrand are I think even in the fourth division. Nice, the team that we drew 0-0 with, they are in the top division, so that's maybe a little bit closer to where we actually are in terms of quality, but yeah, not bad. And actually I think the Nice game was fairly average, fairly equal, and we did okay. So there you go. We also beat Vaduz, who are actually okay. We beat Guimaraes Reserves. We beat Piacenza from the Serie A. We beat Sporting, and I thought this was the reserves, but we actually beat the first team 4-2. And when we drew 3-3 with Benfica. So promising signs from our early games this season. If that, it doesn't mean that that's going to actually result in us being as good as that suggests, because I mean, if they came second last year, so if we beat them 4-2, we should come second this year. That probably won't happen. But we do want to improve upon our last season's finish, where we came, 8th? I think we want to just push up a little bit more into the top 7, maybe 7th, 6th, 5th. That's where we want to kind of try and end up. And we're going to do that by playing Academica, the only team above us who hasn't played a game yet. So let's do it now. Let's see what we can do. I need to rejig the team a little bit because they are still set up for their last pre-season game. So we'll probably keep the actual lineup pretty similar. Let's just sort out these. So we've got loads of defenders. I'm not convinced. We've got quite a lot of players general. I'm still trying to move a couple on. Okay, so Fonseca can't play. Pereira. There's a bit Charalubos in there. Mendonça and Husgaard up front. In midfield, we'll take Teixeira, but actually he'll start. We'll take Fevzi Dogan here. We'll also take Papuashvili. And in defence, we will take with us... who will we take? Kobayashi and... Where's my boy? Oleg Lysens. That should be a good side. Miguel Pinto. He is going to be our starting left back, but I think in this game we're going to play with Mikava just because Pinto was injured in one of our preseason games and hasn't quite come back to fitness yet. So let's go with it. Let's see what we can do. Everyone on their side is making their debut. Everyone on our side is making their debut. I still need a new assistant manager because he doesn't have any tactical knowledge against anyone in the top division, which is, I mean, poor. Anyway, let's see what we can do. Academica, the side that came up with us, they also stayed up with us. That's nice. Van Baaren loses out straight away to Statopoulos. Thiago Yeze running on his own, puts the ball in the middle. Nilsson loses out. Abreu. Oh my god. Luckily, Eric Leon is still with us. He's a sensational centre-back. After me being slightly back and forth on whether or not I should actually sign him, he's a good player. I'm pretty happy with him. Mostly I'm happy with the rest of the team. Villegas is a pretty solid goalkeeper, still having that thing where he just lets the ball through him. He did it twice in pre-season. Oh, Mendonça scores. It's 1-0 early doors. Some pressure from Husgaard sets up Mendonça to score his first of the season. That's what we like to see. Tigran King playing the ball forward. Aliage loses out. Mendonça scores. I'm going to have a little sip of congratulatory coffee. So yeah, I feel like we're in a position where in every position we have a goodish player. In a few positions we have some really good players. Left midfield is still a worry. I feel like right midfield isn't really exactly a shining example of what football can be either. Our fullbacks are also not ideal. Van Baaren's pretty good, but the rest of them are all a bit sort of slightly dodge. Midfield-wise, I think we're okay, but not ideal. Oh, Mendonça scores. That's what we like to see. Finally, some goal-scoring form from Mendonça. Lovely stuff. 2-0. And we're joint top of the league. Say we're joint top of the league. Go on, Mendonça. Yeah, but we should be beating teams like Academica. That's pretty standard, pretty obvious. Juarez to Husgaard. We'd like to see a goal for him on his debut. Van Baaren to Teixeira to Tigran King. Tigran King puts it in. Oh, Jelezov makes a good save. Just about Tigran King in towards Leon. It's cleared. Lviv are having some real struggles, by the way. They're like something like 8th in the Ukrainian Premier League. I don't know what the hell they're playing at. Hosgaard, Leon, Nilsson crosses, but we get in the way, and it's a corner for Academica. Parkhouse keeps going for it. Lovely stuff. Juarez. The good thing is some of those players who last season were maybe a little bit raw, like Juarez, like Teixeira, even I suppose Mendonça, and a couple of both of our wingers, I think. They're another year wiser. They've had a little bit more experience. They'll play a little bit better. That's the hope anyway. So whilst we maybe didn't strengthen as well as I would have liked, we do at least have some players who are progressing in that sort of general direction. Certainly players. We're gonna. I've been thinking about it. We're very likely going to have to sell on quite a lot of these players. It will be a little bit like early days at Śląsk, I think. I mean, I don't know. I might not have to do that, but I feel like we're going to be needing to sell on players who we think of as our best players in order to fund getting in cheaper but equally good players who will in the future help us win the league. Yeah, I actually think the league is probably going to be the league is going to be a hard nut to crack. There's a lot of good teams in this division, but the cup competitions might give us a little bit of a respite. We might be able to sneak in that way. None of them are as easy as the Italian Cup with the stupid 3 rounds and then you're in the final thing, but I think we might be able to get into a cup competition final this year. It would be nice. Teixeira to Tigran King. Husgaard looking pretty tired. I must have taken a knock towards the end of the half there. Teixeira to Tigran King. Again to Teixeira. Teixeira with the ball. Juarez. Von Barn. Von Barn to Teixeira. Teixeira to Juarez. Juarez to Tigran King. Puts it across, but he was offside. Husgaard is looking a little bit up now. Leave him for a few more minutes. Masha comes. Masha says hi. Say hi.
Hi.
They can see you even.
Oh yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Breakfast arrived.
Thank you. And you also hear the dog in the background. Mendonça with the ball. After this, I'll make a substitution. Teixeira slips in Husgaard. Husgaard scores. That's what we like to see on his debut. And now let's take him immediately off. We see that Tigran King is looking pretty tired, but we don't have a right midfielder to bring on. Let's bring on Dolczewski, and let's give Van Baaren a break and let License play. It'll do good for him to get a debut, especially in a game where we're winning quite comfortably. Jose to Statopoulos. Jose again. Oh, shoots from long range. Villegas makes a good save. I think I haven't actually, or maybe I did and I've forgotten since I did it, because it's been a little while since I recorded the last video. I mentioned, I think in the last video, that I wanted to check if he has poor shot stopping, because he just appears to have poor shot stopping. It might not be true, but I wanted to know if it is true or not. Anyway, because he lets a lot of shots through his grasp. And he does a lot of good tipping the ball around the post, but if a shot comes right at him, he often will let them through his hands, and I wonder if that's a reflection of some slightly dodgy statistic somewhere. Jelazov makes a good save there. The ball goes out. Tigran King intercepts. Van Dommelen manages to recover and get back and take it out. That is a throw-in for Academica. 3-0 away win on the first day of the season, putting us top. We'll take that big time. Tungalaidis, Juarez, Dolczewski into Mendonça. Mendonça was slightly offside. I mean, I'm not sure if he was, but he hit the side netting anyway, and it's a goal kick for Academica, or a free kick technically. Zelazov to Ferreira. Ferreira to Vrappi. Nilsson shoots and goes wide. What were they called? San Marino won their first silverware since I left, with another Italian Cup win, which is nice to see. Nice to see that they actually have managed to continue to be good after, or at least seem like they are going to continue to be good after I left. They've made some very good signings this season, which has not been the case for the first season when we left. And anyway, there we go. 3-0 win, a goal for the debutant, and an assist. Well, I think he should have an assist there, but apparently not. Mendonça with a brace, and that puts us top of the league. So let's hope that will be where we end the season, although it won't be. But yeah, so what I'm thinking of is this. What are you thinking of? What I'm thinking of is this season, because I don't really expect much to happen in terms of winning stuff. Yeah, good, outstanding. Don't want to rush him. Never stop looking for players to improve the team. I'm thinking not to play too many games this season on camera, so I think we'll probably come back for something around here. I won't play Academical again, but I think we'll come back for the halfway point where we either play Sporting, Leria or Braga, or some combination of the three of them. And we'll discuss where we are. If we have any interesting cup situations, we'll come back for that too. But I think we'll talk about semi-finals, quarters, semis, or finals because of obviously quarterfinals. Forget the quarterfinals and everything. Depending on what weird format that particular competition has, because one of them, the quarterfinals, is like a group stage. But anyway. If anything interesting happens, but otherwise it will be one of these and then at the end of the season, because I don't want to spend too much time on these seasons where we don't really achieve very much. So I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully it won't be too long. See you later, guys. Bye.